answer with a smile on their face. So with that, we come to our next speaker. Gamika is a data scientist and head of product development at Yara Technologies. He has 7 years of experience in edtech, fintech, and investment research sectors. He has significant experience in data analytics, having led projects in artificial intelligence, including design, deployment in mobile devices, and machine learning algorithms. He has coded complex algorithms, including those for image recognition, natural language processing, and a variety of classical supervised, unsupervised machine learning tasks. As you can see from his description, he's going to definitely keep us engaged in terms of how you can use data and make sure that your classroom integration is done well. So he is pushed through that with a master's degree in electronic and electrical engineering from Imperial College London, and is also a CFA charter holder. So Gamika, can we have a little insight on data analytics in the education sector and the Google Classroom TP integration?
Absolutely, Safra. And I would like to take a minute, to thank Professor Harshana, Asanka, and Malik for the very detailed, practical side view of how we use Google and how schools adapted to their usage. And I can't at any level of depth in comparison to you provide the practical aspects of that. But what I will do is I'll give you an overview of how artificial intelligence as a tool is being used to further education, edtech in general. So, there's a lot to unpack there. So I'll try and break up a few segments for you in that. So, the first tool that artificial intelligence for education can be used is what we call interactive learning, and I think Asanka and Malik, going on explaining about Google Forms, for example. But interactive learning is in a sense where the student can interact with the content, and it will provide real-time feedback. So, you're doing an essay and you answer a particular question, and it will give you the instant marks, or it will give you direction, it will help you guide. So it's more engaging as a method of learning. Another, and this is what we believe as the holy grail of education, is personalized or adaptive learning. In adaptive learning, what happens is there's the algorithms that run in the back end carefully track how a student learns, right? How a student answers, his style of answering, for example, and it adapts the way in which it poses the questions and the content of the questions and the severity, the difficulty, or the easiness of the questions to help this student, to guide the student in his or her learning abilities, right? That's, Google with its Google Workspace account is pioneering some of these initiatives in this particular field. And so that's the second one, and I would say automation. So, whenever you talk about artificial intelligence, one of the main things, apart from the terminate aspects of it, that comes out is the automation. How will this affect jobs? How will this increase efficiency, productivity, and all the rest of it? So, of course, automation, you can basically divide it into 2 points, and that is in terms of the admin burden, reducing the admin burden, and reducing the sort of grading, scoring burden. So, reading some of the surveys that you get, one from Telegraph, if I am not mistaken, you have roughly a teacher's time spent about 50 to 60% arguably teaching, and about 25 to 20% scoring and grading, and the remaining 10 to 15% on the admin related tasks. So this is about 40-45% of the average teacher's time that you can save up, so that you can help the teachers do what they're good at, which is teaching, essentially. So if you're looking at the administrative level stuff, you can get algorithms to learn the patterns by which you, say, for example, schedule online classes, look for slots that are available, and then schedule a class, invite the particular students, send out meeting requests, etc. That's an example of how admin related automation can help. The other one is scoring and grading. I think Asanka mentioned this with the quizzes, right, in Google Form, which once you set up the answers, you can get even 1,000 students to answer, and the answers will be set out. That's the level one of it. But what if you, for example, in higher end degrees, you need to mark reports and in-depth comprehensions, thematics, etc. That requires the algorithms to really understand, even at a semantic level, what is in the content essentially. So does it contain the right logic and structure? Does it contain the right content? Is it answered in the right place? At least a first level filter for what may be required, and that's where scoring and grading related startups from Silicon Valley are trying to crack that boundary to help teachers make progress there. So that's the admin side of it. And finally, I would say it's the data analysis. So again, artificial intelligence can be used as a tool to analyze a vast array of data, so that you can derive insights that are not easily visible or extractable by human eyes essentially. So again, I would break that down into what we call grade mining for grade and score performances, and for very specific student learning level attributes. So to elaborate a little bit more in depth there, so mining, some of our schools here, like Asanka and Malik said, already do this to a certain extent. They closely track the progression of each individual student over their time at school. So what you'd be tracking, looking at each individual students, for example, maths grade, what is it consistent, what's the volatility like, how did they do in relation to the rest of their class, rest of the school, how are the teachers performing. So that's mining at a data analysis level. And for analysis of data from a specific, sorry, I think my lights went, so you won't be able to see me, but I'll continue if that's all right. Yeah. So from a specific student level attribute, you will be able to understand what are the styles of learning, how do the students for example understand, how do they answer these questions, how do we post these particular questions in this particular way. So that is more granular at an individual level, how you would answer these, understand how a student learns. So that that, for example, that captures the gamut of the main fields of artificial intelligence that is out there. Now, it sounds very rosy and out there to be as a start, but like Asanka and Malik and Harshana really mentioned, there are many practical applications. There are many practical issues concerning this, and primarily it's going to be down to the internet connection and your hardware capabilities, right? So I hope that answers your question. It's an enormous topic, obviously vast array, but I hope I captured some of what you're looking for.
Thank you so much for giving us such entertaining insight, along with facing a power cut. So we can see your dedication there, right there.
It's like a strobe lighting. Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely